Hello, my dear fellow foreign English speaker. I'm Robbie, your friend and your fluency mentor from EnglishHarmony.com. And today I'm bringing you another English idiomatic expression. And today's phrase we're going to look at is quite simple. Goes to show. Or it goes to show. Or it just goes to show. Or you can swap it just to which. In which case you get which goes to show. It doesn't really matter which one you learn, because it all depends on a context, but you may want to learn the basic three-word combination, goes to show, or the four-word combination, it goes to show, it goes to show. Repeat it, learn it, memorize it. Make sure you use it in your self-practice sessions or conversations with other people, And here's when this phrase is used, It's used when you draw a conclusion. And whether it's your own monologue, whether you make a statement on your own, or it's a response on someone else's statement, it doesn't really matter. It's basically to draw a conclusion. And here's an example. Say, for instance, you've been having an argument with some work colleague of yours, and that's made you very upset, and then you complain about that to some other colleague of yours, and you tell them, listen, Gary is impossible to deal with. Today he was totally rude and he was way out of line, speaking with me. Which just goes to show that he's totally unpredictable, and I'm done dealing with him. That's it, I'm ignoring him from now on. So basically, you were making the first part of your statement and then you say, which just goes to show, and then you follow with the conclusion, which is that Gary is totally unpredictable, But in case you're using the phrase, it goes to show as a way of starting responding to someone else's statement, here's how it happens. Say, for instance, someone is telling you some shocking news, and as it happens these days, it's all about bad news, We're being bombarded by bad news on a daily basis, and I've actually touched upon this subject in one of my previous videos. And personally, I'm trying to block out all the negative news, all the bad news, because they can bring you down without you even actually realizing it, and then next thing you know, you are depressed, you don't know why you feel so bad and why you feel so down, but it's all about the bad news, it's affecting us, whenever we turn on our TV or radio or whatever, read news online, only the shocking news make headlines, because obviously everyone is drawn to them, and there's big money in advertising and all media outlets are trying to increase their readerships, and listenerships and all that sort of thing. So everyone is interested in actually broadcasting only the bad news because they're very shocking. But anyway, some friend of yours is telling you some bad news, and then he kind of expects you to respond with something, the way people normally do. When they share some news with you, then you just can't remain silent. You have to respond them with some sort of an answer, A very handy way to start your response is by saying, yeah, you're right, you're dead right, which means you are completely right, This is another expression, actually, you're dead right. It's got nothing to do with being dead. It just means you're absolutely right, you're 100% right. It just goes to show, and then you follow with your conclusion, with the thing that you can add to that person's story. So let's say, for instance, your work colleague is telling you some shocking news, He's seen 13, 14-year-olds getting drunk on a Saturday night, and then he's basically saying that the world is so much different these days, and what the world is coming to after all. When we were young, we didn't drink when we were 13 or 14. We didn't even have access to alcohol, like the kids do these days. You're talking about things like that. And then you can conclude the whole conversation by saying, yeah, you're totally right, and it just goes to show how much different the world is these days. It wasn't like that 20 or 30 years ago, and you're completely right, but there is nothing we can do about that, And that's about it, That's all I can say about this matter, And I suppose a more sophisticated word to use instead of this phrase would be to illustrate. You can say, it clearly illustrates the problem we're having here, you know. Or you can say it just goes to show how big the problem is and we have to deal with it head on, or something like that, you know. But basically you can choose between saying it illustrates or it goes to show, or it just goes to show. But you may want to stick with the latter, with the friendlier expression, you know, it goes to show, because it's less formal, and when you're speaking in English with your friends and with your work colleagues or your college friends in informal situations, that's the type of language you may want to use, you know, to come across as one of their own, you know. So here's an example when you use the word illustrate. The number of foreign English speakers not being able to communicate with other English speakers effectively in real life situations clearly illustrates the widespread problems in the English teaching industry. We could put it in different words. I could also say the number of foreigners not being able to communicate with others effectively in English clearly goes to show, or simply goes to show, how ineffective English teaching in schools and colleges and universities across the globe is, you know. But then I can swap them. I can swap the expression goes to show with illustrate, or the other way around, doesn't really matter, you know. So that's it for today, my dear friend. Make sure to learn this expression and use it in your own daily conversations. Thanks for watching this video and see you soon again. Bye!